Hey guys, this is awesome. I just got back from the Y, and waiting for me a day early was the new camera, the Sony ZV-E1. So this is our new powerhouse filming rig, and I've just got it on active stabilization, so I just want to test it. I don't know if it's going to be jumping around. The autofocus is amazing. I can see it's locked right on my eye. There's no shaking that off. It looks like our gamble has paid off, guys. I gambled and bought this used, returned camera on Amazon warehouse deals, and saved 700 bucks by buying this used one. And I thought, oh, it says that there's moderate damage to the box. And I thought, that's no big deal. We'll take a look at it when we get it. If we don't like it, we'll send it back. Guys, I will show you. I'll take my phone out and show you this camera. It is immaculate. Look at this thing. There isn't a mark on it. The screen is perfect. It was definitely just a return. The dead cat looks dead. Yeah, that looks like a bad hairpiece from the 70s. But other than that, the camera is in fantastic shape. And I am stoked. The gamble paid off. There's nothing wrong with this thing. And from what I'm seeing, the active stabilization here is pretty good. Now, of course, I'm holding a mirrorless camera on a little, hand rig here. So it is kind of heavy. I need to try a bunch of different stuff, including, guys, to set this up, I have no idea what I'm doing. Of course, I didn't read any manuals. Let's just do a little quick test here, guys. Obviously, on this side, we've got the $3,000 mirrorless full frame camera, and on this side I've got my phone. Both are shooting in 60p. So I'm standing in the doorway. There's a bit of sunlight coming in. It was raining earlier, but let's step back into the darkness of the garage and just see what happens. I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen. The phone is going to fall apart. I can see it already, and the other camera is not. Actually, the phone's not too bad. Phone is the best phone I've ever owned, but there's no way that it's going to keep up with the EV1. Anyway, just so much things to look at, test, play with. I just got back from a game of squash at the Y, and I got to say, holding this camera on this pole, my back is tight right now. It's heavy right now. It's heavy. This thing is heavy. I do have a smaller lens. Let's try the smaller lens. Okay, so here we are with my cheap little $100 lens, and I can see the autofocus is locked on my eye. It's crazy. This is the best stabilization mode. It's like gimbal smooth, and this lens has stabilization in it as well. So for $100, I think this is gonna be, it's working perfect. I don't see any vignetting on the outside. Oh, a little bit when we moved there, I think. We'll have to play with it and see. And if that is the case, guys, we can zoom in just a tiny little bit with our clear image zoom. We could do that, and that would take care of it. But let's just zoom out and do our initial tests like this, walking around and see. I want to see if there's any vignetting in the corners with this stabilization mode. I think there is a tiny bit. It's hard to see. This screen puts a red box around it when it's recording, so I won't know until I put it on the computer. But let's go for a little walk and vlog with this lens on here. And if it is causing issues in the corners, I'll just crop in on the computer. You guys will never know, but I'll tell you about it. I'll let you know that it was, and then I'll fix it before you have to see it because it's kind of annoying. But I'm super impressed. This is way lighter. This lens here makes all the difference. I could carry this around and vlog with this. Oh, I'm excited. So that is the cheap little kit lens that used to come with the Sony E-mount cameras. You can get it for $100. It's light, it's small. Look at the size difference compared to the Tamron. The Tamron is awesome, and it's going to work for vlogging. But let's see. I put the camera in dynamic stability mode with that lens, and let's just see what it looks like. Quiche is ready. So I guess I can't vlog until after I eat. I feel like a little kid. I had my quiche. I'm having my beans. They're hot. Gotta eat them quick so we can go vlog. It burns! So I did notice a little bit of vignetting in the corners when the lens is moving around, doing its stabilization thing. So I just zoomed in just a little tiny bit, and I don't think it's there anymore. I can't explain to you guys how beautiful this is to have a screen that flips around. So it's just like my camcorders. And the fact that when I push the button, it doesn't zoom in. It doesn't give you that, right? Did you guys see that autofocus? It's freaking awesome. Okay, so I'm just leaving this thing on auto ISO, and it's at 12,800 ISO right now. Okay, so I'll give you guys a little dad update. I ran into him this afternoon before I went to the Y, and good news for Dad. He was at the casino last week 3 nights in a row because he was trying to win a TV. They were doing draws for TVs every night. This is his excuse, right? So he didn't win the TV. He even roped me into going down there 2 nights in a row and using my card, because then you get 2 chances at the draw for the TV. And he didn't win it. So what happened was today, my buddy Tim is the service manager at True North. And my dad bought a car there. He bought his new Nissan, and he was supposed to get winter tires. They gave him $1,000 in credit to put towards winter tires. And today, my buddy Tim called me and said, hey, we got this set of tires that came in on a car that will fit your dad's car. They're the exact size, winter, with about 80% life left on them. Do you think your dad would want these for free? And I said, this is my dad we're talking about. He'll take anything for free. You could tell him they only have 20% life left on them, and he would have took them. So my dad got new winter tires and steel rims for his car, and he's getting his $1,000 in credit that he had for tires. He's getting that back. So now he can get his TVs. He wants a little TV for his bedroom and, I don't know, probably a 60-inch or something for his living room. So I said, for $1,000 nowadays, you can probably get 2 decent TVs. So that's the good news update for Dad. The house is coming along. They're moving kind of slow. We will get back out there and film and show you guys where they're at, but nothing really, no huge movement out there to show you guys right now. But he's having a good week. So that's the Dad update. Get the dinner out of your teeth, Mr. Reed. I'm pretty sure I had some keys stuck in there. Okay, Maple Leafs. Season opener last night. And I may have cursed just a little bit. At one point, there were 17 shots on Toronto, and 5 goals were scored. They were down. The Leafs were down 3-0. I left the room, and I came back like 5 minutes later, and all of a sudden, it was 3-2 for the Leafs. And I was like, what happened? Well, I guess the 3rd goal Montreal scored, they had it called back, and then Toronto scored 2 quick goals after that. And then as soon as Toronto did that to take the lead, Montreal came back and scored 2 quick goals. And I may have yelled something like, effing bum, at the TV, because what NHL goalie in 17 shots allows 5 goals? So I may have been a little irate with that at the, I don't know, $4 million or whatever we're paying this guy. And I told my wife, I could pretty much stand there, move over, you know, back and forth. Don't even swing my arms around. I could probably stop 17 NHL shots in a 60-minute game. So I was a little bit irate. and then with 4 minutes left in the game, the Leafs pulled the goalie, which is not a usual move, and they scored. And I thought, oh, here we go. And with 1 minute and 30-something left in the game, they scored again to tie it up, and they went on to win the first game of the season in a shootout. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good start. I still don't have the best feeling about this because of the goaltending was subpar. 2 defensemen ended up on their ass while skating backwards last night. I won't mention any names, but this team is, I don't think they're Stanley Cup material yet. I hope there's trades that are going to occur over the season, but I'm behind the Leafs. I'm always behind the Leafs. I'm just always hoping for a better player to come to town. Willie Styles Nylander, yeah, I want him re-signed. Nylander has been one of my favorite players, even, you know, when he sat out that season and everybody wrote him because he missed half the season for negotiating with the team, and then he came back and played like crap. Okay, even I was a little disappointed in that, but he is, and last year proved, one of the most talented guys on this team. 40-some goals last year. So if we can get him for the right price, Tavares has got to go. We got to keep Willie. I was so disappointed, guys, when I bought the A6600, and that was the last camera that we bought. The stabilization on that camera is useless. I tried with this lens right here, and you might as well not have any stabilization on. It was very jittery. We did test. I showed you guys that a 12-year-old DSLR, the Sony A77 II, beat the 2020 A6600. The stabilization was crap, and I paid a lot of extra money for the A6600 versus the A64 to get one feature. The only difference between those two cameras was the stabilization. So I feel that it didn't work out with that camera. I have very lightly used that camera since then, and I am blown away how far Sony has come. The package that they've put together with this ZV-E1. I'm really excited to see how this thing's going to work on my scope, my Kawa scope. The fact alone, and I wonder why Sony can't do this with a software update for some of the older cameras. The A7R4, which I own, the A6600, should be able to take a software update which would allow clear image zoom to work in movie mode. And also to retain focus tracking. Like this thing is locked on my eye. It just switched to the other eye when I went like that, but it's instantaneous. There is no messing around with this. This camera, guys, this camera is amazing. I'm gonna let this car pass and we're gonna record it just so we can see what the mic sounds like. Tom. Normally I would stop recording at this point, but there's a nasty loud Beaver airplane, 1946 style, going overhead, and I want to see how this microphone works. How much of that junk noise is it picking up? I have it set on auto, so it's supposed to automatically determine where sounds are coming from. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, guys, because this is important, especially if you're interested in this camera. I was really excited to try the Tamron 17-28 lens, but guys, it's heavy. So if you're going to walk around and vlog with this, it's not that comfortable. This lens that we have on here now, the 1650 Sony OSS APS-C lens, a $100 lens. You can get this thing brand new all over the place for $100. Okay, we know it's sharp. I did photo tests with it before. Not one of the channels out of the 40 videos that I watched in the last 2 weeks exploring this camera recommended or even tried this lens. Why? Because their noses are all up in the air. Oh, we're professional. Gerald's a professional. He wouldn't touch a $100 lens. Well, guess what? This lens is going to do the exact same thing that a $1,500 1635 G2 lens is going to do in terms of me standing here vlogging. And I'm not going to break my back while holding this thing out at arm's length to do it. This is what people are interested in, is a light, you know. Yes, can you get a 20 millimeter prime Sony G lens? Yeah, you can. Again, it's probably close to the size of this. It's probably close to the weight of this. It's also going to cost you $1,400 plus tax. Last time I checked. This thing is $100. Let me know what you guys think about that. You know, this is the problem that I find with YouTubers all over the place, right? They get to a certain level. They think that they're so professional that they can't recommend stuff like this. Guys, I'll recommend stuff like this all day long because I could take 10 of these into the woods on any adventures, destroy them. Not that I like destroying gear, but if it happened, it happened. And I'm still ahead of the game from buying one, 20 millimeter G lens. And this thing has a little bit of a zoom on it, right? So yes, we can probably hear, when we're zooming in, a little bit of zoom noise. But guys, for $100, This is the solution that I was after, and I bought this lens when I had the A6600 and was hoping we could do this exact thing with it, and no, we couldn't. So I am beyond ecstatic. And I think this is the lens that we're going to use for vlogging. The 1728 is obviously more professional grade lens, but I thought it would work in a vlogging situation. I immediately, within 5 minutes of using it on here, I found it too heavy. It's just not comfortable. You wouldn't want to walk around for 2 hours and vlog with that. So the last thing I'll update you guys on is battery life. I had a brand new 100% battery put in here. We've probably filmed 25 or 30 minutes of me talking about stuff and this and that, eating dinner, and we are down to 60% battery. So, and we're filming at 4K 60 right now. So you can't complain about that either. Great battery life even on this camera filming in 4K. This camera will also do 4K 120, which we will test out for slow-mo, and I don't know what else we would use 4K 120 for. I'm hoping to use it for slow-mo wildlife on the Kawa lens. That's my plan. So I could see Sony coming out with a firmware update for some of the older cameras, because I can tell you guys right now, if I had bought an A7S3 in the last 2 years, I would be quite upset when they came out with this thing for half price that actually has more features. This has some cool features where it will actually crop and keep Gary in the frame as it's zooming in on me like I have a cameraman. Okay, so if we have a wide enough lens on here, we can do some cool tricks with this thing on a tripod or even handheld. Okay, so there's lots of stuff to play with. More stuff than I can play with tonight. All I can say is I'm excited, guys. I've given you what updates I can. We've played with the camera a little bit. Now I have to go back and look at the footage on the computer. Lots more to come, so I'm excited. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next adventure.